On Mother's Day, my daughter handed me a card that revealed an incredible, life-changing secret. Sarah took a deep breath, staring at the handmade card in her hands. It shimmered with glitter, despite the minor smudges from hastily applied glue. The smell of fresh-cut flowers filled the kitchen, remnants of the bouquet Emily had insisted on buying with her last allowance. Sarah felt her heart swell with love, but a small knot formed in her stomach. As she opened the card, a cascade of emotions washed over her. Inside were scribbled words, penned in her daughter's familiar scrawl. "Mom, thank you for everything. I love you more than words can say. I'm sorry for not talking to you more." Her eyes went wide when she reached the part she never expected. Emily had been working after school. At a grocery store. Stashing money to help pay bills. For a moment, the room spun, and the air felt thick. "Emily." She gasped, barely keeping the hurt and pride in check as tears stung her eyes. This was too much. "Emily, I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me?" Sarah whispered, voice trembling. There it was, that unspoken chasm of guilt, love, and loyalty. She knew the sacrifices she had made, working 2 jobs just to keep a roof over their heads, but this? This was a betrayal and a gift all wrapped in one. Emily sat across the table, shoulders tense, her own guilt displayed in her eyes. "I wanted to help you, Mom. You do so much for me." "I thought," she paused, visibly struggling with her words. "I thought it would ease your burden. But now I feel stuck." The weight of unexpressed emotions enveloped them. Each confession hung heavy in the air, and they both felt the gravity of the moment bearing down on their hearts. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. As Emily's confession sank deeper into Sarah's mind, she felt her heart clench with both pride and despair. How had she allowed their lives to spiral to this point where a 16-year-old felt responsible for carrying a financial burden? "But Emily, I want you to focus on your dreams, college, a future, not this." The words slipped out before she could stop them, heavy with the weight of her hopes mixed with the fear of losing her daughter to the world. "I can't just sit back and watch you struggle anymore, Mom." Emily's voice broke, raw and emotional. "I love you too much. But I want more for myself too. What if I can't? What if you want to let me go?" Tears blurred Sarah's vision, catching the reflection of her daughter's pain. Each moment felt like a lifetime stretched between them, a plea for understanding lingering in the silence. Would they both have to sacrifice their dreams, or could their shared bond hold strong even as they grappled with the complexities of love, independence, and obligation? The question lingered in the air, and suddenly, it didn't seem so easy to answer. The silence hung in the air, stretching thin like a spider's web, uncertain and fragile. Sarah's eyes, still glistening with tears, searched Emily's face for some sign of hope or resolution. It was as if they were standing on the edge of a cliff, looking out over an uncharted expanse. "I just don't understand why you think you have to carry this weight," she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Emily's brow furrowed, and she glanced down at the table, her fingers tracing the edges of the card. "Because I see you struggling, Mom. You work so hard, and I wanted to be there for you, to help." Her voice trembled. "But I didn't think it would make things worse." The enormity of Emily's words hit Sarah like a tidal wave. Her heart surged with the opposing forces of pride and worry. She wanted to tell her daughter that she was doing enough, that being a teenager should revolve around studying, friends, and dreams, not well-meaning burdens. "Sweetheart, you shouldn't have to feel responsible for me. That's my job. You deserve to be a kid still." The tension turned palpable, twisting around them. Emily's disappointment shimmered in the air, battling against Sarah's fierce resolve to protect her. "I'm not a kid, Mom. I just want a chance. Her voice cracked, crashing against the walls of their fading kitchen, filled with flowers and memories. Don't you want me to chase my dreams, even if they might take me away from here? Each word resonated deeply. Sarah felt the weight of her own dreams washed over by the harsh reality of their lives together. She realized that she had built a safety net around them, but now Emily was looking to break free. Their relationship was shifting, evolving in ways Sarah never anticipated. I want you to fly, honey, she whispered, her breath catching. But I also want to protect you. Emily's stare pierced through her mother's layers of worry, a fierceness igniting in her eyes. Protecting me, Mom, doesn't always mean keeping me close. Sometimes it means letting go. It's what you taught me to be brave. The truth of her daughter's words unfurled a dormant ache in Sarah's heart. When had she transformed from a nurturer into a warden? What if she was holding Emily back instead of lifting her up? I just don't want to lose you, she confessed, her voice trembling again. I know, Emily replied, reaching across the table to take Sarah's hand in her own. The warmth of their connection wrapped around them, even as uncertainty loomed. But finding ourselves often means risking a little pain. They sat in that moment, fingers intertwined, allowing the vulnerability to settle between them. Sarah felt the tears slip down her cheeks as she embraced the reality of this new chapter in their lives. Could love truly encompass understanding? Could it flourish even in the face of divergent paths? They were both standing at a crossroads, and neither had the answers yet. Emily, Sarah finally said, taking a deep breath, why don't we start planning together? I need to understand your dreams better so we can figure this out. But before she could finish, Emily's eyes lit up with a spark of hope. You mean it? You'll listen? Absolutely, Sarah smiled, the echoes of their earlier conflict slowly dissolving into something brighter. Let us tackle this together. As they began to speak in tentative yet optimistic tones, curiosity flooded Sarah's heart. But with each passing second, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were not just uncovering Emily's dreams. They were on the verge of revealing something deeper, something that could change both their lives forever. What other secrets were buried beneath the surface waiting to be discovered? The atmosphere in the kitchen shifted gradually, almost imperceptibly, as the tension began to melt away. Sarah felt lighter, overwhelmed by a rush of hope. She leaned in closer, eager to catch every word Emily had to share. So, let us start from the beginning, she urged gently, leaning forward, elbows resting on the table. Emily smiled shyly, her cheeks flushing, as she began to articulate her aspirations. I want to travel, Mom, like really travel. I want to see new places, meet new people, live in a different world for a while. Her voice resonated with a mix of excitement and fear. I've always dreamed of studying abroad. You know, like some kids do. But I want to not just visit, but really dive deep into the culture. Sarah felt her heart flutter with both pride and trepidation. That sounds incredible, honey. But what would that mean for us? The thought clawed at her, a stirring realization that her daughter's dreams meant distance, perhaps reckoning with a new normal. Emily took a deep breath, sensing her mother's apprehension. I know it's a big ask. But I just feel like there's so much out there waiting for me. I can see it, Mom. And I promise it doesn't mean I'll love you any less. It means I'm chasing what we talked about, living boldly and taking risks. Living boldly, Sarah echoed, each word resonating like a bell tolling in the distance. That's a tall order, isn't it? Emily nodded, determination flashing in her eyes. We can figure it out together. That's what you said, right? Let us start reaching for our dreams. I can apply for grants, I can get scholarships. I want to make you proud. Tears pooled at the corners of Sarah's eyes, but they shone with a warmth that echoed her hopes for her daughter. I can't deny that I want you to chase your dreams. They've always been important. But I also don't want to lose what we have. Emily squeezed her mother's hand tighter, a pulse of reassurance flowing between them. Mom, no matter where I go, home is always here. With you. You're my anchor. Suddenly, the weight of her words hit Sarah with the force of a wave. Emily's optimism was infectious, seducing her fears into submission. "We can start exploring options right now," Sarah suggested, a tentative lightness emerging in her chest. "What kind of programs are you interested in?" Emily's excitement bubbled over, and she lifted the card off the table, starting to explain how she'd researched exchange programs, cultural studies, and the countries she dreamt of visiting. Sarah listened intently, allowing herself to drift along with each detail, imagining the incredible life that was blossoming just beyond their kitchen walls, but amid the cries of potential, a thought nagged at her. As they spoke, what if Emily's dreams led her somewhere irrevocable? What if the woman who once scooped her up in her arms now had to stand by as she took flight into the world? "Can we talk about the logistics?" Sarah interrupted, her mind racing. "Traveling means money, planning what about school?" And what if she hesitated, the familiar worry creeping back in? What if it gets too hard? Emily slid the card toward her mother, the bright colors and cheerful illustrations seeming to ignite the air between them again. "It will be hard. I know that. But isn't all growth hard? Don't we owe it to ourselves to at least try?" Sarah studied her daughter's firm resolve and felt the tug of conflicting emotions: fear, pride, love. It was the same radiant warmth that had once made Emily's small hand fit inside her own. "Maybe you're right. Maybe we can find a way through the hard stuff together." As they exchanged ideas, the swirling uncertainty continued to dance around the corners of the conversation, but now it felt more like anticipation than dread. They were moving into a shared understanding, a commitment. Just then, the sound of footsteps echoed through the hallway. Sarah looked up, her heartbeat rising. Had they been overheard? What if their newfound pact faced unexpected challenges from someone else? "There's so much I want to share," but Emily's voice faltered, and with a heavy knock on the door, Sarah felt a jolt of apprehension as they both froze, caught between the weight of their conversation and the world outside their home. Who would burst into their moment just as they were inching toward a life-changing decision? "Are we ready for whatever comes next?" She wondered silently, fear gnawing at the edges of her hope. Emily's breath hitched in her throat as the door creaked open. Sarah held her own breath, tension gripping her chest. They exchanged a fleeting glance, eyes wide, wondering who or what would step across their threshold. "Mom. It's me," came a cheerful voice. Josh, her older son, bounded into the kitchen with an armload of groceries, a carefree grin plastered across his face. "I thought I'd surprise you guys with dinner tonight." Relief washed over Sarah, breaking the momentary silence. She felt her tension unwind, letting out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. "Hey, Josh. What a nice surprise." Emily's shoulders relaxed, though the conversation hung like a fragile thread. She watched her brother, heart still racing as he began unpacking the grocery bags. He didn't yet know what they'd just discussed. "Can you help me with this?" Josh asked, turning to his sister. He waved a packet of pasta in the air like it was a prize. "Sure," Emily replied, forcing a smile. But below the surface, her thoughts churned with excitement and anxiety. Would she have to tell him what she dreamed of? Would he understand? "Okay, let us cook up a storm," Josh announced, his enthusiasm infectious. As they worked together, putting ingredients into pots and pans, Sarah found herself caught between admiration for Emily and the new, nagging concern about how to integrate her other child into this unfolding vision. She joined them, chopping vegetables, but her mind wandered back to the life-altering conversation she'd just had. "Are you excited about graduation?" Josh asked Emily, stirring the sauce in a pot with a wooden spoon. "Yeah, definitely," Emily replied. "Just trying to think about what comes next." Josh looked up, curiosity narrowing his eyes. "What do you mean? Are you thinking about college options? Or something else?" Sarah glanced at Emily, her heart pounding. This was the moment. Should Emily share her dreams? Would she want to burden her brother with the weight of that information? Whatever the answer was, it wasn't hers to decide alone. Emily hesitated, weighing her words. "I want to study abroad. Travel, See the world. Josh's expression shifted from surprise to intrigue. Whoa. Really? That's amazing. His eyes lit up with genuine excitement. Where do you want to go? I mean, that sounds epic. Emily felt the warmth of encouragement washing over her. I don't know which country yet, but I've been doing some research. There are a lot of programs out there that could help me immerse in a culture. Sarah watched as an ease settled over the kitchen. Despite her worry, both of her children leaned into their conversation. There was something undeniably beautiful about sharing their dreams around the simple kitchen table. Mom has been super supportive, Emily said, glancing towards Sarah for assurance. I wouldn't be able to even think about this without her help. A surge of pride bubbled in Sarah's chest at the sight of her children engaged in this moment. Yet mixed with it was a trace of concern. Would Josh support Emily, or would his protective nature lead to questions about safety and distance? Of course, you should go for it, sis. Just think about all the food you can try. Josh chuckled. Emily laughed, her spirits lifting light as she leaned into the encouragement. You know me too well. But as the dishes sizzled and steam filled the kitchen, a subtle question gnawed at Sarah's mind. Would they embrace this new direction together as a family? Could they navigate the changes that were sure to come? In that moment, the front door rattled again. This time, the sound was more insistent, followed by a dear, familiar voice announcing from the hallway. Hey. I'm here. You won't believe what I just found out. Sarah's heart sank slightly. Could more surprises shake the foundation they'd just begun to build? What news awaited them now? Just when we thought the conversation was out of the woods, she thought, bracing herself. The kitchen buzzed with warmth, but uncertainty lingered in the shadows. She caught Emily's eye, and they shared a fleeting, knowing look. Are we ready for what's next? Sarah wondered silently as hope and fear intertwined yet again. What would this unexpected visitor bring? The door swung open wide, and in stepped Rachel, their neighbor and longtime family friend, her hands bursting with excitement. You guys won't believe the news I just uncovered. Her dark curls bounced as she rushed into the kitchen, nearly colliding with Josh, who was still stirring the sauce. Hey, Ms. Rachel. Josh greeted, caught off guard but intrigued. What's up? I was at the community center, and you'll never guess what they're doing. Rachel took a breath, her smile almost blinding. They're putting together a program for students to get scholarships for studying abroad. The air in the kitchen shifted. It felt electric, loaded with possibility. Emily's heart skipped a beat. Could it be true? The very opportunity she had just been contemplating was suddenly within reach. Wait, you mean like actual money to help us go? She asked, her voice trembling with newfound hope. Exactly. Rachel nodded enthusiastically, her eyes drilling into Emily's. It's open to any student. They want to help kids like you explore the world and learn from different cultures. I've already signed up to help with the presentation next week. We can get more information together. Josh's eyes flicked between Emily and Rachel, confusion and excitement battling on his face. Emily, this is huge. But Sarah felt a wave of panic. Could this scholarship really change everything? She had deliberately stayed in the realm of dreams, worried about the safety of her daughter if she ventured too far from home. The thought of losing her to some distant continent pulled at her heart. When does this start? Emily asked, barely able to contain her excitement. They're hosting an informational meeting this Saturday, Rachel continued, her voice filling with enthusiasm. And I can help you prepare your application. It's a fantastic chance, and I know you'd be the perfect candidate. Josh's face lit up. You have to go for it, Em. We can't let fear hold us back. Wouldn't it be amazing? As Emily processed the whirlwind of information, Sarah found herself torn between pride and fear. Her gut twisted at the thought of Emily potentially leaving, while simultaneously yearning to support her daughter's dreams. And what if Sarah began, her voice shaky? She hesitated, searching for the right words. What if it's too much? What if it's not the right time? She didn't want to be the mom who held her child back, yet each thought about Emily traveling made her heart race in reverse. What if it's too much? Rachel echoed, disbelief painting her features. Isn't this exactly what she's been dreaming about? You have to let her fly, Sarah. Emily's expression softened. Mom, this is my chance. I need to do this. Her voice was steady, conviction shining in her eyes, but Sarah still sensed the tinge of doubt lingering in her daughter's heart. Just then, the conversation shifted again as the door swung open, this time more forcefully than before. An unexpected figure stepped inside, and the sudden look of surprise on Sarah's face sent a shocking chill through the room. Who is it now? Josh asked, concern etching his brows. Sarah's heart raced as she recognized the tall silhouette in the doorway. Her thoughts spiraled. Hadn't they just begun to find their footing? What new twist awaited them now? Could this visitor possibly change everything they were trying to build? Mom, what's happening? Emily whispered, looking from the newcomer to Sarah. As the room held its breath, Sarah wondered, could everything they had worked so hard to create be at the brink of unraveling? And what did this uninvited guest have to reveal that could shift the foundations of their lives again? The figure stepped further into the room, allowing the evening light to reveal familiar features. It was Daniel, Sarah's estranged brother, with a demeanor both unsettling and oddly comforting. His presence brought a wave of memories crashing back, moments she had tried to bury under layers of time and resentment. Daniel, Sarah murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. The name felt foreign on her tongue, and yet it tasted bittersweet. Hey, Sarah. Can we talk? His voice was steady, yet there was an undercurrent of urgency that made everyone else in the room freeze. Didn't he know what he was stepping back into? The awkward, strained moments that had defined their relationship for years? And just like that, the excitement in the kitchen dimmed, overshadowed by old pain and uncertainty. Now? Seriously? She shot back, defensive instincts flaring. You just show up after all this time? Mom, maybe he wants to apologize, Emily whispered, hope flickering in her eyes like a candle in the wind. She took a step toward her uncle, daring to bridge the gap. Apologize? Sarah scoffed. He broke our family apart. What could he possibly say that would fix this? Daniel's expression hardened. Look, I know what I did. I'm not here to make excuses. I just thought with everything happening, maybe it's time to talk. Rachel stood quietly beside Josh, uncertainty etched across her face. She exchanged glances with him, both aware of the emotional quagmire enveloping them. This wasn't just about Emily's potential journey anymore. The very foundation of their family dynamic felt precarious, as if a gentle push could send them spiraling. Why now? Sarah couldn't help but demand. You just expect us to fall back into place like nothing happened? You broke my trust. He lowered his gaze, shame shadowing his features. I know. I regret it every day. But more than anything, I thought you'd want to know what I just found out. What do you mean? Emily asked, confusion coloring her voice. She turned to Sarah, seeking answers. What does he want us to know? Daniel's piercing gaze shifted to Emily, as if he were searching for some unspoken understanding in her eyes. There's something coming that can change everything for you, Em. Something I never thought I'd have to tell you, but I need you to hear it from me. The kitchen buzzed with charged silence. The weight of his words hung in the air, stifling any response. Sarah felt her heart racing, torn between anger and curiosity. She wanted to reject him outright, yet something primal stirred within her, a need to protect Emily, to prepare her for whatever whirlwind Daniel was bringing along. Tell us, Sarah finally commanded, crossing her arms defensively. Daniel took a deep breath. You deserve to know about your father, Emily. And what really happened. It's time. Emily's eyes widened with confusion, a mixture of surprise and apprehension chasing away her earlier excitement. My father? What do you mean? Rachel stepped forward, sensing the tension and perhaps wishing to shield Emily from the unfolding emotional storm. Is this really necessary right now? It is, Daniel insisted, glancing around at the concerned faces. You need to hear this. It could change how you see your future. As the intensity in the room crescendoed, Emily's breath hitched. Uncertainty clouded the path to her dreams, and the looming shadow of her father's untold story suddenly felt more ominous than her aspirations to study abroad. Mom? Emily turned, searching for guidance amidst the rising chaos. Sarah's heart sank, realizing that the delicate balance of dreams and fears was teetering on the brink of a revelation that could shatter their fragile hopes. What would Daniel reveal? And would it pull them further apart or bring them closer together? As tension hung heavy between them, the door swung wide again, but this time it felt less like an entrance and more like a warning. What awaited them just beyond that threshold could very well change everything they thought they knew. The door creaked, and a gust of chilly air swept through the kitchen, interrupting the loaded silence. All eyes darted toward the opening, hearts skipping a beat. Was it someone else walking in, or perhaps something outside that could provide a distraction from the emotional chaos? But it was just the wind. It rustled the loose papers on the table, settling back into stillness. Feeling the weight of Daniel's gaze upon her, Emily swallowed hard. What do you mean about my father? She asked again, her voice steady despite the tremor underlying it. Daniel seemed lost for a second, his brows knitting together. It's complicated and it's not just about me, he finally said, fists tightening at his sides. It's about who you are. What you are. Those words hung in the air, thick and heavy, like smoke curling from a snuffed candle. What did he mean by that? A knot tightened in Sarah's stomach. She could sense the uncertainty creeping into Emily's demeanor, threatening to extinguish the flicker of hope glowing in her eyes. Rachel stepped back, feeling the intensity of the moment. Maybe we should all just take a breath. This isn't the time for whatever this is, she offered weakly, but Daniel's eyes softened as he turned to her. No, it really is, he insisted. Too much has been left unspoken. Emily deserves to know the truth. Sarah's protective instincts flared. And you think spilling this out now will make things better? It's not that easy, Daniel. Sometimes the hardest truths are the ones that set you free, he replied quietly, his voice layered with desperation. I wish I could have shared this sooner. But time got away from me and you know that best. Emily's gaze shifted between them, flicker of confusion painted across her face. What did you do? What really happened? Taking a hesitant step forward, Daniel's breath hitched. Your father wasn't just gone by choice. He got tangled up in something bigger. Something that put us all in danger. I'm sorry I didn't protect you from the truth, but I thought if I stayed away, it would keep you safe. Sarah felt a chill wash over her. What do you mean? What danger? How could you possibly think leaving us in the dark was the right choice? The corners of Daniel's mouth tightened slightly, his frustration breaking free. Because the other option was worse. Your father thought he could handle it alone. I should have been there, we all should have. How do you know any of this? Emily pressed, and her body leaned forward, like a reed bending toward the sun in hopes of warmth and truth. Because I found him, he said simply, voice cracking. He's alive, Emily. And he wants to see you. The room erupted into stunned silence, breath suspended in disbelief. The air seemed to crackle with the weight of revelation. Sarah's heart sank, grappling with the implications of his words, while Emily's wide eyes stared into Daniel's, searching for something: hope, fear, anger, confusion, all falling over her like a cascade. Alive, Emily murmured, her voice barely a whisper, as if she were afraid the word would shatter the fragile reality formed around them. Are you sure? Rachel interjected, her skepticism bubbling to the forefront. How could he? Trust me, I have proof, Daniel replied, reaching for his phone. His expression shifted from vulnerability to determination. I'll show you. Emily's hands trembled, emotions swirling inside her like a blizzard. Proof of what? Why should I trust you? Because this family matters, Emily, Daniel said earnestly, holding her gaze. And it's time to stop pretending everything is fine when it isn't. It's time for the truth, no matter how painful. As the tension escalated once more, the gravity of his words loomed over them. Would this revelation push them further apart, or could it be the lifeline they desperately needed? Just then, Sarah noticed an incoming message chime on Daniel's phone. She could see it was a name she hadn't expected to see in years. "Who just texted you?" she asked, voice trembling. Daniel looked at the phone, hesitating, and in that moment, the question hung in the air like a held breath. What now? What was it that awaited them in the next moment? If they ventured deeper into this revelation, could they handle the truth whatever it may entail? The room felt electric, charged with the weight of unspoken truths. Daniel's eyes darted toward his phone as the message preview flickered before him, intensifying the moment. "Daniel?" Emily's voice cracked, fragile with anticipation. "What is going on?" Swallowing tightly, he forced himself to focus on her. "Hold on a second, I need to see who it is." He opened the text, his entire demeanor shifting from anxiety to a complex blend of surprise and dread. It's from your dad," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "He wants to meet." A gasp escaped Rachel, and Sarah felt her stomach drop. The moment hung heavy, excitement and fear braided together, creating a fabric impenetrable to reason. This was what they had all been waiting for, but what would it mean for Emily if she actually confronted the man who had walked away? "What does he say?" Emily's body leaned forward, almost magnetically drawn to the truth that held a promise yet to be fulfilled. Daniel hesitated, like a dam on the verge of crumbling. He read the message aloud, his voice breaking at times. He sorry. He says he has been searching for a way back, for forgiveness. He wants to explain everything." A storm brewed in Emily's eyes, a mix of longing and betrayal. "How can I believe this? After all this time?" she demanded, her voice quivering with the weight of her emotions. "How can I just accept that he wants to come back now?" Daniel stepped closer, his own emotions boiling beneath the surface. "Because, Emily, this is an opportunity. A chance to get answers you've needed for so long," he urged gently. "You can either let this moment pass, or you can seize it." Sarah watched the exchange, her heart torn. Trusting Daniel felt like a leap into the unknown. She could see Emily wrestling with unspoken fears. The specter of her father loomed over them like a dark cloud threatening rain. What harm could come from opening that door? Emily's hands shook as she took a deep breath, her mind racing. What if he hurts me again? What if he's not the same? What if he's dangerous? Each question was a hammer falling on her heart, a gnawing pulse of anxiety. Daniel spoke softly, "You're stronger than you think. You don't have to face this alone. I'll be here for you, whatever you decide. This family matters, remember?" His statement hung between them, and for the first time, Emily cracked a smile, one that felt like sunlight breaking through storm clouds. Perhaps, against all odds, there was a chance for healing. Rachel leaned closer, her voice barely a whisper. "You have to follow your gut, Em. No one can make this decision for you." Silence enveloped the room again, but it was different this time. It felt softer, filled with possibility rather than dread. Emily's heart raced. Could this moment lead to the closure she desperately sought? Was she willing to open herself to whatever followed, good or bad? Then, just as she was about to speak, another message pinged through Daniel's phone, cutting through the fragile tension. His face drained of color as he read it. Emily's heart plummeted. "What is it? What does it say?" He blinked, eyes wide with shock. "It's a warning. Someone knows we're involved. They're coming for him. And for us." A knot tightened in Sarah's stomach, the air suddenly thick with panic. "What do you mean? Who's coming for us?" The stage was set, danger lurking just beyond the horizon. Decisions needed to be made, and fast. Would they confront their past, or could they resist the pull of the truth before it engulfed them whole? The questions hung like a dark cloud over them, thick and suffocating, as they stood on the precipice of a potentially life-altering storm. What were they prepared to sacrifice for the sake of family, and could they fend off the danger threatening their fragile peace? Daniel's hands trembled slightly as he lowered the phone, the ominous weight of the message settling on his shoulders. The room, once filled with a hesitant hope, now buzzed with a precarious tension. Emily's gaze darted around the familiar faces of her friends, searching for reassurance in their wide, anxious eyes. What do we do? Emily's voice wavered, cracking under the pressure of her unresolved emotions. Who could know about this? Why is he saying they're coming for us? Rachel leaned forward, urgency painting her features. We need a plan. We can't just sit here and wait for something to happen. We can't let fear control us. Sarah nodded in agreement, fear clawing at her throat. We need to figure out what this means for you, Emily. You could see your dad, but it could come with risks. We need to talk about those risks. Anxiety rippled through the room, and Daniel could feel it like an electric current. I am not ready to confront him, Emily stammered, her voice small. Not like this. Not when my life feels so uncertain. Just remember, you're the one in control, Daniel said, his tone firm but gentle. You get to decide if you want to meet him or not. We're here to support you, no matter what. A flicker of determination ignited in Emily's eyes, rising above the chaos of her thoughts. If he really wants to explain, maybe I owe it to myself to hear him out. But how do I know he's not lying? What if it's a trap? Just then, Daniel's phone buzzed again, the noise slicing through the air like a knife. He shot a glance at the screen, but this time he hesitated, his instincts screaming at him. Wait, I don't think we should be sharing too much right now. Let us discuss this safely, where no one else can overhear. Emily swallowed hard, trying to suppress the dread washing over her. You're right. We need to talk about this privately. They all huddled closer, the quiet between them now pulsating with urgency. The idea of danger hovering over them felt surreal, but there was an undeniable threat that demanded attention. I can stay with you tonight, Daniel proposed, glancing at Emily, whose eyes sparkled with appreciation even amidst her fear. We can figure this out together. We'll create a plan, something we can put in place before you meet him. Rachel nodded vigorously. And we'll keep an eye out for anyone suspicious. If anyone's coming for us, we have to be prepared. The reality that they were about to step into uncharted territory hung like a starved wolf waiting eagerly outside the door. Emily felt her chest tighten, a mix of anxiety and hope conflicting within her. I can't believe this is happening. Is this really my life now? Just then, a frantic knock echoed from the front door, jolting them all into startled silence. Time seemed to freeze, the air thick with anticipation. Who could it be? Was it her father? Or something much worse? Stay here, Daniel insisted, glancing back at the group before he crept toward the door, moving cautiously, adrenaline racing. The weight of every moment coiled around them like a thick fog. But as he reached for the knob, Emily whispered, Daniel, wait. What if it's not safe? The door creaked open, a new chapter about to unfold, and with it, an unexpected visitor could change everything. Would they find answers, or would they be running from danger before the night was through? As Daniel opened the door, the sunlight spilled into the room, illuminating the uncertain faces gathered inside. And there stood Olivia, the estranged mother whom Sarah hadn't seen in years. Her presence sent a shockwave of disbelief through the kitchen. It felt like an echo from the past. Olivia, Sarah breathed, holding her breath. What are you doing here? Olivia's eyes darted around, nervous yet determined. I need to talk to you about everything, she said, her voice trembling, laden with urgency. About Daniel, about the past, and about Emily. The mention of Emily's name pulled them all in closer, an invisible thread binding them to the truth Olivia carried with her. The tension in the room cracked. Emily felt a surge of emotions: confusion, anger, curiosity, and she stepped forward, her heart racing. You said he was gone. Why are you here now? Taking a deep breath, Olivia stepped into the kitchen. Because I've made mistakes, honey. Mistakes that have come back to haunt us all, she said, her eyes sad yet sincere. But I can't let you face this alone. What do you mean? Emily asked, her voice constricted, ready to defend the fragile peace they'd only just started to build. Daniel. He found something he never should have, Olivia said, glancing at her brother, whose anxious expression mirrored Sarah's own rising fears. The past isn't just buried, it's coming back to take what it wants. And it goes deeper than your father. Rachel stepped forward, heart racing with apprehension. What kind of danger are we talking about? A dangerous group that wants answers. They won't stop until they get what they want, Olivia replied, her voice low yet firm. And I need you all to know the truth to protect Emily. It's time you knew who you really are, Em. Who all of us really are. Sarah's pulse quickened. Fear washed over her like a tidal wave, threatening to drown out her protective instincts. What do you mean? She asked. Emily, the truth is you're part of something much bigger. Your father he didn't just leave. He was a part of an organization working to uncover something dangerous. And now, after all these years, they've found you, Olivia explained, urgency rushing through her words. This isn't the time for secrets. Daniel interjected, stepping closer, his tone a mix of frustration and fear. You should have told us this sooner. I wasn't ready to face it either. Olivia shot back, her voice rising in a fleeting moment of anger. But I can't let this continue. We have to work together to protect her. Emily shook her head, struggling to grasp the enormity of what was being revealed. This can't be real. How could you keep this from me? Because the world is complicated, and I wanted to shield you, Emily, Olivia confessed, tears glistening in her eyes. I thought if I kept my distance, no one would come looking for you. Mom. Emily's voice cracked, vulnerability washing over her. You can't just leave me in the dark. I need to know what I'm up against. What if it's true? Sarah whispered. The pieces were beginning to fall into place, and the reality settled heavily on her shoulders. What if we are in danger? Daniel grabbed Olivia's arm, grounding her in the moment. We can figure this out. But we need to act fast. Emily, you're not alone in this. As everyone wrestled with their fears and the weight of the moment, an unexpected calmness settled over Emily. She felt the connection of family wrap around her like a blanket. I want to meet my father, she said resolutely, an inner strength flooding her. I need to understand how this all connects. But we prepare for anything. Absolutely, Rachel chimed in, stepping closer. We'll face whatever comes together. Sarah looked around, sensing the solidarity building amongst them. We start tonight. Together, we'll figure out next steps, but safety comes first. We can't let fear dictate our lives. Her protective nature surged. Trust is vital, Daniel added as they formed a tight circle. Whatever happens, we do this together. We're stronger as a unit. With renewed purpose flooding the air, Emily felt empowered. They were more than just a family, they were allies ready to confront the unknown. Let us take our first step, Emily declared, her heart full of determination. I won't stand back anymore. As the evening mutated into a flurry of ideas and hushed plans, hope pierced through the looming tension. The shadows of their past may still linger, but now they stood as a united front ready to face whatever obstacles awaited them. Armed with the truth, they were ready to reclaim their narratives, willing to stand tall as they sought answers and ride the waves of uncertainty together, and with that, they began to plot a path forward, the night brimming with possibility. Now's the time to commit and embrace the adventure. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next thrilling chapter of this transformative journey. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Your engagement makes all the difference. Comment below your feelings about the ending, let us know your reactions, and share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible transformation. Don't wait not even one more second to share, because only true fans understand the power of supporting this channel.